Hey guys, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about how villains seem to be butchered nowadays. And I got into my nice Spider-Man suit today for the video, so we can have a little bit of a different whatever you call it, aesthetic. Like, I'm dressed up as a superhero and I'm going to be talking about supervillains. And we're going to be talking about, come in. Oh hey Edward, what are you doing here? Oh, geez, Edward, I completely forgot. I didn't mean to forget you in our last video. Well, at least it was Doug that clutched it. You could have clutched it too. Sorry about that. We'll have you in this video in our next video, okay? Oh, yeah. Edward, that was 3 years ago. I didn't know it actually hurt you that personally. You know what, Edward? I'm actually sorry. Like, the deepest of my heart, I'm actually sorry that I made that video about you. It was just supposed to be a parody. It wasn't actually about you. You're not in trouble. Come in. Doug, not right now. I cannot just get 3 chili dogs right now. Okay, you two gonna leave the room now? I gotta make my video. Alright, let's get to it. Yeah, first off, we're gonna go immediately with each examples. So we're gonna go over villains that are done like crap. So here's gonna be my example board. It's gonna be like Toy Story 4, She-Hulk, MCU's Ms.Marvel, which I somehow forgot for like 5 minutes. And, okay, and She-Hulk. And then we're gonna go over just the modern idea that how villains just seem to be structured for the past like 7 years. I'm pretty sure everybody's gonna notice this real quick. So we're going to go to our first example, which is Steven Universe. The villains in the show are 4 diamonds. You got blue, pink, white, and yellow. I'm not really going to go in depth about a lot of these villains because at that point I'd just be retracing too dang often, but I'm basically just going to list what they've done because if you count 2 of the diamonds, which are yellow and blue, they basically did the equivalent of human genocide, made a war, destroyed planets, basically enacted Nazism, and that's all I can think about right now. And then you got the Pink Diamond, pretty much one of the most evil characters. She basically played both sides, because in the show there's apparently a twist that I guess Rebecca Sugar thought would be funny to make the main character, who was Steven's mom, be a Pink Diamond. That doesn't help one bit, because it kind of destroys your idea of being a loving person from beforehand, and just kind of goes, well, she's double-sided, because either she cares a lot or she doesn't care at all. She literally put her own homeworld in a war for stupid reasons. And then there's White Diamond. This one, she literally takes the will away from people. That shouldn't be that explanatory, but yeah, she takes your free will. I don't know how any of these people could be considered like good or anything. They're basically gym fascists, and at the end of the show they get forgiven because quote-unquote trauma. So they end up getting their resolve because Tumblr be Tumblr. Okay, and then we got our second set villain. You got She-Hulk the show, which sucks, but the main villain is just men. That's literally it. Yeah, there's no twist to this. I don't know why, but it just like I exist and other dudes exist and don't do anything, and yet we're all put to the freaking kill all men abbreviation. We're just all the enemy for some reason, like just because we look a certain way. And I wonder, ain't that like sexist or racist in any way? And I actually have a question for women who put hashtag kill all men in their their bios or posts. Do you ever mean Steve Irwin or MLK or Jesus? Like any of those people? If so, you're a piece of crap. But let's go to She-Hulk. I think 3 or 4 episodes literally just came out, and they're all like boring as crap. I've never watched them, and I'm pretty sure I'd fall asleep if I saw them. But the main villains in the show are literally men because since the first episode, she had a She-Hulk. Rebecca got a male co-worker. I don't know what his name is, but let's call him Tony. Or yeah, call him Tony. So Tony basically was basically like, Miss, I think you got this wrong. He's basically trying to, make her be better, but she likes to see it as like he's treating her like crap or something like that. You got another man who's basically her boss after episode 2 or 3, and I don't know anything about him, but I'm assuming he might be a freaking villain because people will say he's, I think, level headed, like rational at all, and I'm like, you can't have that as a freaking hero in an SJW show. Yeah, and if you look at the writer who wrote the show, you could tell a lot about why She-Hulk is complete garbage. You got this fat 1 out of 10 chick, and she is like butt ugly, hates the Hulk, and hates men. And I'm pretty sure if she touched a dude, he would pat himself like he was on fire until he died. Yeah, her mere touch can make a man gay. Okay, so we then got our third set from Toy Story 4. I think her actual name was Annie, like the puppet. So in the movie, you got this weird looking puppet thing, and she has her voice box broken, and then she basically wants to cut Woody up because that totally doesn't sound like psychotic at all. She wants to basically cut his back open and tear his voice box out so she can have a voice box. Which I'm kind of wondering. Imagine you get a girl doll, you pull on her string, it's like, there's a snake in my boot. Which, that sounds like a plan that failed anyways, but Toy Story 4 was a mistake in itself, so you have her, which she's freaking annoying as crap, and she's literally a piece of garbage. She has 4 of these puppet things as her little mob protectors, and she basically wants to gut open her character and take his voice box, so, because she, I guess, wants to be special, but it's just a terrible message. If you can watch this one dude's video, he got about why Toy Story 4 sucks, and it actually, like, proves a lot of things. It's like, I think 6 hours long, but it's pretty good. I watched, like, the whole freaking video. There's also some other villains in that movie, which I'm not going to get into, but, yeah, that's kind of it. Okay, and we're going to get into our final set, which is MCU's Ms.Marvel, the show I literally forgot for 5 fat minutes. I literally was brainstorming, what is this character or show called? But we're going to go straight into it. I think her aunt is the main villain. I did not watch the show, and I had a brief idea of what she even did. So apparently, she had this gang where she roamed around and opened portals, destroying cities or something. And she's trying to kill, I guess, children, which is Miss Marvel's age. And all I know that she's like near bottom human garbage, and she gets redeemed for some reason. Because I guess you can't have a woman character be bad nowadays, which doesn't make sense because you can just watch She-Hulk. But basically, Aunt Agedna is just whoever it is basically going to go to her next arc. Okay, and I actually compiled a list of factors or tiers that kind of shows that if you have these tiers in your villain is just crap, just complete bottom garbage. I'm pretty sure if you see these anywhere, you just know them people have bad storytelling skills. But with that, got a pretty decent list. I think I might have left a few things out. Someone could probably reply to them in the comments. I'll see it and see how it goes, but we're going to go to our next section. Okay, now that everybody's got a moment to absorb how garbage modern villains are, I'm going to go straight into my example. I'm going to have one example of a good villain to counteract all 4 garbage ones and a whole list of how to know if a villain's complete crap. But we're going to go straight into it. It is actually going to be from my comics. If anybody, I'm pretty sure everybody doesn't know this, but I had a comic line start from 2006 and it's still going on. It's called Hateromattery, basically HM. But we're going to go with the example of the one villain I've been thinking about for the past few months. The Happy Man. And the reason I chose the Happy Man was just the depth I put into him. Just like his purpose and the overall story in the comics. He's a pretty messed up character and actually, is a villain. He's not just some hero who was placed as an antagonist in the story like that one comic about this superhero named Terror for some reason. Or anything. he is a legit demon. He is basically the bottom of morality, and just the overall fact of what he even is. He may literally have one of the most basic designs out of all my villains, but it actually suits a purpose. Because he has this below the neck exterior of being extremely formal. His clothes are perfectly flat and ironed. His shoes are nice and shiny. You got a suit on. In the original comics, the first Happy Man in the comics is Black Suit. And we're going to be talking about him because he definitely does serve this role for the purpose, or purpose for the role, whatever I'm trying to say. And above the neck up immediately shows that something's off. He's literally smiling ear to ear. His eyes, when he's doing this little attempt at blending in, are kind of like normal, but they're white with extremely black small dots. But he can make his eyes inverted at will because he's a demon. And the fact that his hair is even perfectly combed just shows he puts all this formality to just get people into a false sense of security, except for the fact that his face looks just off. And the fact that that's kind of how his character just looks. The pre-season 10 idea of how he is a different story. The Happy Man is kind of a playful demon. Not exactly playful like he chases a dot. He's playful like he'll tear your skin off or your arms or legs off just to see what happens, or hear how much you scream. He likes to know how much pain he can inflict onto a person before he can put him out. And that is what he considers playful. He just maims people, walks to a building, and kills everybody in there for no reason. Except for the fact that they're all just not demons. Oh yeah, and I completely forgot something about how he looks. Due to the fact that he's one of the few demons with false skin, his skin actually buckles like a mask. And I actually did this one drawing where I drew where if he was looking behind himself, his neck would be at a very unnatural angle. I don't know where the drawing is, and I do not have a picture of it. But to exactly get to his moral deficit, you can understand from a character like this, I actually drew this one picture which perfectly described his character. If you don't understand what's happening, just realize that there's that one place in a hospital where they have all those beds with babies in them. Yeah, now you just got the context of how decrepit it is. Perfectly shows off his character. But to get to a deeper dive into it, he has no love in his heart. He is a straight up menace. I keep saying that like multiple times. Probably should stop right now. But I even find his look ingenious because on the outside he looks pretty happy, you would think. But behind his false skin is a bunch of razor sharp teeth, 4 orange eyes and horns, and he's very angry. Basically, the Happy Man resembles like depression and false emotions. Because when you're depressed, you like to put on a face that, you're happier. And I was thinking throughout my comics, like, he would appear in season 3, which is the equivalent of me being 9 years old, which he would then control me from beyond the seams to make me depressed and worsen my depression. Because in the later seasons, like 6 and 8, I end up being more of a douchebag, like I was when I was actually depressed. He would then contort my mind to be going to darker places, be more of a pessimist, just be very, very discreet with things. The fact that he had the power to just over a person's mindset like that, he just worsens your depression. And throughout the whole thing, he basically makes me more petty, more let's say, materialistic. Goes into your head, controls me to be more materialistic, because if you're a Christian and basically the only thing that's technically in his way, he makes you more materialistic. He makes you focus on the smaller things instead of the bigger things. He makes you more selfish, short-sighted, and makes you a lot more aggressive. And that's what the Happy Man did to me in the comics, but what actually happened with my depression which did make me get into something I think called depression or retardation or something like that. And it would be a pretty neat reason for why the Happy Man even exists. And just like the overall sound of them, I don't have any actual audio examples, but the Happy Man is, I describe him to have a very, very deep voice, like all the other demons. And the fact that he roars like basically 10 lions is a very deep roar too. But I made sure to at least have one bit of his vocals stick out. The fact that his laugh is extremely high-pitched, and it's off-centered. So he kind of just sounds like a mix between a Joker and a dude in a insane asylum when he laughs. But that's the audio quality of him. Oh, and that extra depth I put into him in Season 10. Because after Season 9, after I became Cyber Henry and then ended up getting punched out, I then had to go into the woods and actually relearn my life. And the Happy Man only took advantage of me when I wasn't myself. But after 10 months in the woods, and I come back in basically a Spider-Man suit, but it's with red and black, the foreshadow stuff, the Happy Man has already taken over, is basically trying to take over the world. Has multiple cities turning into these hellish castles made of stone, and he's learned the ability to absorb power. And I come over, he realizes that I'm a little different than being depressed, and he actually tries for once. Tries to literally kill me. But at the end of the story, I end up getting my redemption and he dies. He is dead for a bit, and then when Season 11 happens, you could say the universes merge, and he basically comes back to life somehow due to universal changes. And he is angrier than ever. He literally lost all of his playful energy and is just pissed. All he wants to do is kill me and everything in existence. And that's basically how he is now. With the little mark in his chest from where the sword impaled him, and his hair grown out due to the fact that he died. He basically has no contention and no patience. He will not let any opportunities slip to try and kill me. And that is why he is evil, why his character is built like that. He's a lot deeper than I actually am so far giving him for it. I can probably get a character study about him in a separate video, but that's if anybody even wants it. But that was my video about villains, and I'm going to actually let everybody off with video mesh of the boy meowing. Adios.